Well, Taylormade has released its latest line of putters, the TP Reserve. And I had a chance to catch up with Taylormade's Bill Price to learn all about these new flat sticks. For much more on the Taylormade TP Reserve line of putters, now joining us, good friend of the show, Bill Price. And Bill, how long has this putter line been in the works?
Great question, Adam. We've been talking about this for a lot of years. In fact, probably over the last 10 is probably the number one question I've gotten from not just our customers and indoors here at TaylorMade. Everybody that loves a blade has been talking about when are we going to make a finely milled putter. So finally, with our portfolio of players that we have today, we've seen, you always see players shift back and forth, and it seems a lot of our portfolio are, I don't want to say mostly blade. We still have a lot of spiders out there, but we've got a lot of newcomers that have come into our portfolio and they're blade guys. So they seem to be needing, this style of putter more than ever.
So the TaylorMade TP Reserve, tell us about some of the main technology points behind these putters.
So when you look at this category, it's very classic driven, right? And it's all about precision and artistry of the putters. We talk about 1/10 of a millimeter when we look at these, the fine lines and the sharpness of the top line and the edges and the bumpers and the radii. It's different than we talk about a spider. When we talk about spider, you and I go back and forth. We talk about, well, the MOI and the stability and the roll. There's different words that we use with spider than we do with a milled putter. And the shapes and styles of these have been around for the last 40 years. They're simple shapes. We haven't really reinvented shapes in this category, but it's really the fine tuning and the little things, the artistry that we do. And, performance comes in a lot of different ways, and you can speak to it a lot of different ways. So the fine milling and using different machines that we use on this type of putter is kind of the performance that comes out of it. Now, there is also a different insert that in fact, we don't have an insert. So we've machined in the groove versus we've always been talking about roll for many, many years, especially on spider putters. But in this case, there's a certain sound that the player likes to hear and feel from a blade putter that's very different from a mallet putter.
Wow, there's a lot to get into there. So how different will this putter feel from, say, a spider putter?
So we've always believed in an insert, and an insert provided better roll, and it's also a softer sound or softer feel with a spider. In this case, when you look at this category, it's heavily driven by non-inserts. So there's a louder sound that provides feedback to players. And there's a lot of players, and we started getting this out there and testing, and a lot of those style of players, these particular players, use that sound for distance control. So they like a louder sound. So we really paid attention to that. And we looked at the competition. We looked at what's the sound that we want to have. So we did a lot of research with sound testing and developed our own sound. And through the groove that we have, we provided a groove, and we looked at a groove across the insert that's very consistent across the face. So you get the same sound now from our groove, not only in the top or the bottom of the putter, as well as in the middle of the putter. So the groove really is more of a sound groove, and it provides the optimal sound, and it provides a sound that we're really happy at TaylorMade for. So we really worked hard on finding a TaylorMade sound that's right for a classic putter like Reserve.
Wow, that's interesting. And so the TaylorMade TP Reserve also comes in a number of different heads, both blades and mallets. Is that correct?
Sure. We tried to simplify the line initially with our first launch here. So we've got 3 blades and 3 mallets. And the naming protocol for us is we're going to have a B1, B2, and a B3 blade, B for blade, and then an M2, M3, M4 mallets. The second number in there, like we have a B11, and that second number refers to is a kind of an internal. We've got 9 different households, especially when we go on tour. So we could have a B1, B2, B3, or B1 11, or a B12, and a B13, and a B14. Those all refer to the type of households that we have. So we've tried to simplify our selection down to 3 models of blades and three mallets, and with a total of like 9 different combinations of households. So very simple line, like I said, with six models and 9 combinations.
Wow, that's really cool to hear too. Now, I always love to ask you about the reaction from guys on tour who have tried this putter, who have seen it for the first time. What has their reaction been?
So the reaction has been great because they've been asking for it for a long time now. We've been always giving away our TP putter line. Our TP putter line has always been casted. And there's a big difference when you cast a putter and a different sound. And we've had an insert in ours. So again, having the TP Reserve now with this elevated price point and this elevated performance level, now we don't have that insert. So now we have that locked in sound. And now being able to go to those players that prefer that certain sound, we've locked that in. So big surprise from the players that we're testing right now. Excited about it because they see the little things, the artistry and the precision that milling provides to a putter. And versus we can't do that with when we cast the putter because there's a lot of polishing that takes out all the radii, or it takes out the sharpness of that edge. So yeah, the excitement around the tour has been great. Our putter lab has been very, very full of a lot of reserves going out, not just to our tour players and all of our best players out there, but also our home pro staff players.
So for anyone watching this, whether you're a tour player or whether you're a weekend warrior, how do they decide which TP Reserve is best for them?
Yeah, so a lot of the designs that we have, if we just broke down the blade, so we have a very sharp leading edge, the bumpers are very sharp. So you have that tour inspired shape. And the second, that's called a B1. The B2 is got same type of similar shape, a tour inspired shape of a blade, but it has all those soft bumpers, soft leading edges. Everything's a little bit softer edges than the B1. And then the B3 is that wide body blade that's very popular right now. So you see a lot of wide blades being used, not just on tour, but by the best players. And that's kind of that balance between a blade and a mallet, where you have this kind of wider body blade, thicker top line. That's called a B3 from us. So, from the blade side, it's a very simple process. What you like, and B1 and B2 are very similar styles with the tour inspired styles. And a lot of our players that we were just discussing, those are the ones that are getting the most attention right now. But the wide body is exciting to me, and I think for consumers out there. But then on our mallet side, we have a nice winged style mallet called the M2. And then we have I call it more of a modern shape. It's a rounded shape with a lot of the nice polished edges around the complete backside of the putter. So that's called an M3, and then the M4 is your classic, kind of again a lean between a blade and a mallet. It's that classic simple mallet size that a lot of players have used over the past few 10 years or so. So we've got a nice simple approach to the models.
Yeah, simple approach to the models, but so much detail in this line, the Taylormade TP Reserve. I can't wait to try this out, and I know our viewers and listeners will love it too. Bill, as always, thanks for your time today.
Thanks, Adam.
Can't wait to give those new putters a try. Golf Talk Canada continues after the break.